My name is Robin Goad. I'm presenting my case study in advanced methods of nutritional assessment for my class at JSU Fall 2015. I chose my subject, a male, white Caucasian. He's 13 years old. He's a student athlete. He has no known diseases and exercises vigorously on a daily basis. He's involved with soccer, which is aerobic, and Olympic weightlifting, which is anaerobic. So both spectrums of exercise he covers, and his diet intake will show the needs and the intake for that on the next slides. His anthropometric measurements were his height is at 5 feet, a quarter inch. His weight measured at 107 pounds. His waist was at 66 centimeters. Hip at 84 centimeters. Waist to hip at 0.79. His body mass index was 20, which was in normal range. But a better indicator for a male athlete is the body fat percentage, which was at 5%, which is a little too low. His basal metabolic rate calculation, we entered his body weight at 107, his height in inches at 60, and his age at 13. And through the calculations, we came up with the basic basal metabolic rate of 1405 for kcals. This is a sample food intake for Dean. If you look at it closely, he does have some variety in his breakfast, some fruit, some carbohydrates with the cereal and the grits, and definitely some protein. It's a basic, typical diet for a teenage boy. His lunch is sandwich, chips, Capri Suns. I am glad to see some water intake throughout the day. The dinner meals does have some vegetables like asparagus, green beans, beef, and chicken. His daily nutrient breakdowns, we only took a 3-day intake, so we don't have as much data as we could for like a 12-day, which would be a better reference. But you can see somewhere on the carbohydrates, he was in the 250 range on average, fat in about the 100 range on average daily, protein around 112. His micronutrients these are his daily expenditures for energy. Thursday and Friday were pretty much identical because they were school days, and his activities were very consistent with his sleep patterns, his school patterns, his PE soccer practice, and his evening activities. The Saturday expenditures were a little bit different and actually higher. Even though the soccer at the 6.7 level was lower, he increased his 5.1 level. This is a balance of his consumption from Thursday, Friday, and Saturday, and his expenditure. And you can see that every day he's in a negative balance for calories. And at this rate, he will be losing weight at a rate of 1.7 per week. So clearly we have to increase on our calories. On the nutrient requirement analysis, you can see based on a 250 kcal diet, he is above range for carbohydrates and protein. He is in range for fats, fiber, and iron, and below in calcium. So these are some areas that we will need to touch on in the analysis at the end. A little low on water consumption. I'd like to see that up over 4 liters. On the nutrition problems, number 1 is lack of calories. Currently, Dean is below calories needed to maintain a healthy body weight and body fat percentage by approximately 1.7 pounds per week. So we need to increase his calories, specifically in dairies, fish proteins, and vegetables. Try to increase from around 800 to 850 calories per day, especially on heavy exercise days. Problem 2 that we'd like to focus on is a low calcium intake. Calcium is very important. It has many functions, but for athletes, some of the things that it really plays a role in is muscle contraction, nervous system functions, secretion of hormones, and maintaining a regular heartbeat. I would encourage him to eat foods rich in calcium like yogurts, cheeses, broccoli, salmons, and then also fortified foods with cereals, juices, and tofu. One note is he was higher than the average on carbohydrates and protein intake, but this is due to his active lifestyle in soccer and weightlifting. And he spends so many hours in the extra activities that I'm not concerned with the extra ratio of carbs and protein at this time. One last health note that following this nutritional analysis, the athlete had lost 9 pounds and was diagnosed with type 1 diabetes. This nutritional care plan will have to be carefully monitored by an endocrinologist, and the athlete must count all his carbohydrate intakes and measure all his energy expenditures and needs to stay very active and exercise to sustain health. So it will have to be revisited, the entire plan. Thank you, and I hope that you can slowly view the PowerPoint that I send you and maybe look at a few more specifics that I wasn't able to cover on the slide. Thanks.
Man. You can